old FA-18, ready to do a maiden with it. So I've already done a range test and I've checked the balance, so we should be ready to go.
Well, you said no.
Transmitter. Good. Lights work.
She's a weapon, isn't it?
Hmm.
How do you carry this monster?
Will you take your radio chip? All right.
It is powerful.
One way, or do we use the grass? Bouncy, but
Doesn't matter. It's up to you.
okay, taking off left to right.
No, it's
Something
not.
happened.
Did you just kill the throttle or what?
Well, it died, whatever it did.
Oh,
I got no throttle at the moment.
oh, it's still going.
A bit soft down that bottom end too.
Okay, so I got battery, I got signal. Okay, we got something terrible happening. Look at that elevator.
Oh,
Well, we went out to Maiden the FA-18 today and had a bit of a problem. No, we didn't crash it, but we're heading down the runway, about ready to rotate, and the motor just stopped. So it stopped for a bit, and I'm playing around with the transmitter, and then it gets going again. I'm taxiing around, and then I noticed that one of the stabilators went way up like this, and the other one was level. And I thought, what on earth is going on? Now, these are on individual servos. Those servos are plugged into a control box in there, and then the control box is plugged into the receiver. So one of these things doing something compared to the other is not an issue with the receiver. There's something going on other than that, and I'm suspecting the control box. Now, it's taken off on the turf, so it was really bouncing a lot. So it might be that something is bouncing in there. So I've got it hooked up here. I'm going to measure the thrust again because the thing really seemed to be lacking in terms of thrust for takeoff. So I'm going to measure the thrust again, but I'm going to try, with the motor going, and I try bouncing it around and see if I can replicate the issue of what was going on. Okay, ready to rip. Now, zero out our power. Zero. Armor throttle.
Pressure active, 0 amps.
didn't do anything. 2630 was our thrust. It's a bit like another kilo, really. I thought I'd discovered what the problem was as I discovered that there was a cable that wasn't plugged in all of the way. One of the white ribbon cables in the middle of the multi-function control box was part way out. And so I thought, aha, that must be it. Must have been jiggling a little bit, and even though it didn't happen in the test going down the runway, it must have done something. Unfortunately, as I've looked into that box and what it does, those two ribbon cables in the middle are just the cables for the two wings. So they cover the ailerons, the flaps, and the lights out on the wings, and they have nothing to do with the tail. So whatever was going on with the stabilators has nothing to do with those white cables. The stabilators would be plugged into the servo connections that go along the outside edges of the box. As I was editing the video, I noted that it was blowing a lot of mist out the back, and there was a heavy dew. And then as I got the plane back and I was cleaning it off, I noticed all the wet grass, all over the bottom, including over this part of the air intake here. Of course, air can come in through these two scoops here, but it also can get sucked in directly in front of the ducted fan here. So right now I just want to have a look and see if the fan blades are at all gummed up. And then it would also be interesting to see what sort of electronics are in the path of this moist air going through there, or moisture, more than moist air. I mean, it was blowing out basically a mist of water out the back. Okay, these are plastic bits here, so that's foam there, and these tabs are plastic. Okay. I don't see any grass in it. Okay, so it's got a stator in the back. Okay, the blades are all clean. There's a little bit of residue in the duct itself. Not much. A little bit on the stators here in the back. What's involved in pulling that out? I guess I can pull it out. Looks like the lead goes underneath. Certainly isn't much there. And I don't see any other wiring. Oh, okay, we got an ESC. Part of a ribbon cable going to it. Okay, we got a 120 amp Freewing ESC, which doesn't appear to have been fastened down at all. A bit strange. Got a spot for it there. Okay, and then this went like that. So that thing is in front of it. Okay. Well, for starters, I think I'm going to stick down the ESC with at least Velcro, if not double stick tape. Well, we took a brush and I got to work cleaning up the unit, being very careful to get all the little nooks and crannies. The motor appeared to be very clear and clean, nothing in it, just mainly around the ductwork around the stators, and that was where most of the residue was, but not enough to really significantly bother anything. But we did go through it all and get it back all shipshape. Following that, we then got out the light to have a careful look at the ESC and the wiring that's in there, and noted that, yeah, it could have been an issue as far as that ESC dangling down in the airway. You know, if indeed there wasn't anything to hold it in place, then when the thing is sitting right side up, you'd think it would be hanging down a bit. So that could be contributing to the lack of thrust. Well, we lost a screw, but fortunately we were able to review the video and find that it just popped out and went over there, and immediately found it when we came back here. We noted that the wood supports that this thing bolts into, both the ducted fan unit directly as well as the cover over it, the little plywood supports are loose, but it appears to be by design. So for now we will just make note that it's something to keep an eye on. So we get the ducted fan screwed back in. Good idea going opposite directions and making sure that you've got all the screws started before you tighten them up. But then we tightened them up all around. Got the final cover on, and we noted that with these plastic bits that were fastening into it, that with that plywood underneath being loose allows the plywood to get pulled up against the plastic, and then there must be something else in there that keeps it from coming out. But nonetheless, we will keep an eye on this. So without having been able to discover anything else, we just need to give it another try. So on Monday we're expecting decent flying conditions, and so we'll get it out there. We will wait until the runway dries out a fair bit before we give it an attempt, and try to line up with the actual runway, starting up well before a runway because it's really short, but line up well before the runway and hopefully get up to the speed for rotation before we get to the end of the runway, and get it up in the air. I'm quite confident that once we have it in the air, that it's going to have plenty of power to fly around to our heart's content, but getting it into the air initially is going to be a bit of a challenge. But we will go for it and see how we go. Well, thank you for watching. If you've got ideas about what's going on, hey, make a comment down in the section below, and let us know what you think. And especially if you've experienced anything similar, share your insights. We can all learn from it. So I'm RC Jim, and if you haven't done so already, make sure you subscribe to our channel, keep all these things handy, and then have a look at some of our other videos on the site. You have a great day, happy flying, and next week I'll let you know how this maiden flight went, hopefully not aborted this time.